Alright, this is day 4 of daily SAT prep videos. We are back with conventions of standard English once again. So pause the video, try to do this problem by yourself. Alright, so let's just take a look at these answer choices real quick. So we see that all these answer choices begin with the word walls, and they all end with the word with. It's just what's kind of sandwiched in between these two words that is a little different. So right off the bat, I just wanted to kind of visualize what walls and width would look like in a sentence, and just ignoring whatever's in this middle part here, right? So we obviously see that this is an independent clause because this can all stand by itself since it has a subject being no Hidalgo Tan and him visiting and the predicate of him, or the verb of him visiting 12th century Chairman Alcoa, and this kind of just further explains it a little bit more. And we see this part also being an independent clause. Why? Well, although we don't immediately see the subject, right, which we usually expect to see the subject in, the first couple words of a sentence, but that's not always the case. Why? Because sometimes we can have these introductory phrases which don't necessarily have a subject, but the subject is presented later on, and there's a verb right there. This is more of just an introduction to the sentence, right? Alright, so with these answer choices, walls, comma, with. So with walls, comma, with, this is actually wrong. Why? It's because it uses only a comma. We can't separate two independent clauses with only a comma. This leads to a common grammatical error called comma splicing. And comma splicing is incorrect grammatically because when you have two independent clauses, you have to put you can't only put a comma. You have to put either a word there or maybe use another punctuation mark. Okay, so this brings us to question choice, or answer choice B, which is also not correct because it just doesn't have anything. So now we have two independent clauses, which just leads our two standalone sentences, or independent clauses, that leads to a run-on sentence. Okay, so this leads us to choice C. This one might be a little bit tricky since it uses a fanboys. Now, fanboys can't actually separate two independent clauses, but this answer choice is missing something very important, and that is a comma before the so. Anytime we use fanboys to separate two independent clauses, we must have a comma before the fanboys to separate these two independent clauses properly, which is why it cannot be C. This leaves us with answer choice D. Now, why is the answer choice D? It's because it's basically the most simple way to separate two independent clauses, right? Which is just a period, because we have one standalone sentence and another standalone sentence, which is why it leads to answer choice D.